Good morning, students. We will talk about nasal polyp in this lecture. This lecture will give you idea about definition of polyp, etiology and pathogenesis of developing nasal polyposis, types of nasal polyp, symptoms and signs with complication and management of this disease. Polyp is edematous mucosa due to repeated inflammation with allergy which is protruded from the nasal sinus labyrinth. It is not growth but it is edematous of normal lining mucosa. Here you can see that this is the normal nasal endoscopic finding of the nasal cavity mucosa, in which we can see the pale reddish to pinkish color of nasal mucosa. This is the inferior turbinate, this is the nasal septum, and this is the middle turbinate. There is mild deviation towards the posterior part of septum towards left side. So this is the endoscopic finding of left nasal cavity. But in this diagram, you can see that there is edema of this nasal sinus mucosa and it has protruded into the nasal cavity. So this is the edematous mucosa which is protruded from the nasal sinus labyrinth into the nasal cavity. So polyp is edematous mucosa due to the repeated inflammation and allergy. Main types of nasal polyp are ethmoidal polyp and enterochoanal polyp. Etiopathogenesis for development of nasal polyp. Due to the repeated inflammation of nasal mucosa due to the disease like chronic rhinosinusitis, asthma, patients with aspirin intolerance and with Semter's triad, there will be increase in inflammation of nasal cavity mucosa associated with allergy. This type of patient will develop edema of those cases with nasal polyp. Disorders of ciliary motility are also associated with this type of nasal polyposis. In Carter-Jenner syndrome, in Young syndrome and Churg-Strauss syndrome, there is decrease in ciliary motility. So in this type of disease, there will be increase in stagnation of fluid into the sinus cavity and nasal cavity, and it will not go regularly in the nasopharynx. So due to the stagnation of this type of fluid, there will be chronic inflammation, and with associated allergy, it will develop into the nasal polyposis. Abnormal composition of nasal mucus as seen in cystic fibrosis disease. These patients are more prone to develop of nasal polyposis. Due to the repeated inflammation of the nasal mucosa, it causes increased vascular permeability that causes collection of extracellular fluid. So edema of normal nasal mucosa seen, which causes the narrowing of the ostium as well as prolapsing of normal mucosa from the sinus labyrinth. Due to the repeated blowing of nose for cleaning of nasal secretion, it will cause decreased nasal cavity pressure and it will increase the size of the polyp and pull down the polyp. So whenever this type of polyp will occur, it will develop from this mucosa of the mainly the middle turbinate, inferior turbinate, uncinate process, from the edges of the uncinate process and ethmoidal cavity. So this ethmoidal cavity is in close relation with the opening of the maxillary sinus and with the ethmoid sinus, frontal sinus and sphenoid sinus. So this type of polyp will block the nasal cavity, nasal sinus mucosal openings and narrowing of the ostium because of prolapse and edema of the nasal mucosa. So patient will have repeated nasal obstruction. So patient will do the repeated nasal obstruction, it will cause the repeated blowing of nasal cavity, and due to the repeated blowing and it will cause the decreased negative pressure in the nasal cavity, it causes increase in size of the polyp and patient blows from posterior to anterior to the outside of nose. So it will pull down the polyp and grow it anteriorly. Main types of nasal polyp are ethmoidal polyp and enterochoanal polyp. The main difference between these are as under. Ethmoidal polyposis are more common in adult, where enteroconal polyp is more common in children of around 10 to 13 years of age. Ethmoidal polyposis are more common with allergic and other disorders. Main disorders associated with ethmoidal polyposis are of these types. Ethmoidal polyps are multiple in number. They are like bunch of grapes with small shiny polyps which are coming from the ethmoidal cavity. Main site of origin for ethmoidal polyposis is ethmoidal air cell, edges of uncinate process, middle meatus, medial surface and edge of middle turbinate. From that they will arise, and due to the increase in blowing of nasal cavity, they will grow forward anteriorly. They are like bunch of grapes, small shiny polyp with pale edematous mucosa, which is whitish to yellowish in color, and they are usually pale greyish in color. Main surgery for ethmoidal polyposis is face surgery, and recurrence is common in this type of patient. Where enteroconal polyp is more commonly seen in children, main cause is infection which is coupled with allergy. Usually enteroconal polyp is usually solid single in number, mainly originate from the maxillary sinus, which is a triangular sinus. Enteroconal polyp usually arise from the anterior and lateral wall of maxillary sinus. It comes out from the maxillary sinus ostium and comes into the nasal cavity, and after that it will grow backward. Remember this, ethmoidal polyp will grow anteriorly from the posterior to anterior, where enteroconal polyp will grow posteriorly from anterior to posterior. So it will grow from the middle meatus to the nasal cavity, and from nasal cavity it will go into the nasopharynx. Usually enteroconal polyp is divided into three parts. Antrum part is situated in the maxillary sinus, nasal part is situated in the proper nasal cavity, and choanal part is situated in the nasopharynx, and it will come into the oropharynx. Whenever enteroconal polyp is removed with the surgery, recurrence is uncommon. Recurrence is common in those cases in which some part is left behind in the surgery over the anterior and lateral wall of maxillary sinus. Color is usually reddish to pinkish in color, sometimes yellowish due to the bacterial infection. In this diagram you can see that there are multiple grape-like pale greyish to whitish in color shiny mucosal polyp which is coming from the middle turbinate, and that is coming anteriorly. Here you can see this edema of the mucosa here, and these are the developed ethmoidal polyps from the edge of the uncinate process and middle turbinate. So they are grape-like lesion in the nasal cavity, where you can see that in this diagram it is of enteroconal polyp. Here you can see that right inferior turbinate is situated. This is the septum, and this is the proper nasal cavity which is filled with the polyp. This polyp is not like grapes, but it is a single polyp which is coming from here, from the nasal cavity maxillary sinus, and it will go backward. Here you can see the multiple polyp in the nasal cavity, but this diagram is suggestive of the choanal part of the enteroconal polyp, which is coming from the nasopharynx into the, this is the nasopharynx here, and this is the oropharynx. So from here it will go directly into the oropharynx. So whenever patient has a enteroconal polyp or multiple polyposis in the nasal cavity, it will cause the change in voice, and it will cause the denasality of the voice, produced voice. This is the CT scan diagram of the ethmoidal polyposis and enteroconal polyp. Here you can see that these are the orbit, both are orbit. This is the maxillary sinus, this is the ethmoidal cavity, this is the cribriform plate which will divide the brain with the nasal cavity proper. And here you can see that there is edema over the maxillary sinus mucosa. There are multiple whitish color polyposis you can see in the ethmoidal cavity. In this diagram, this is the maxillary sinus of right nasal cavity and this is the left nasal cavity maxillary sinus. Here you can see this inferior turbinate, this is the middle turbinate and this is the septum. Midline, here is the septum. So it will divide the right nasal cavity and left nasal cavity. Right nasal cavity maxillary sinus is usually normal in this diagram, but here you can see that something mucosal edema or polyp which is coming out from the maxillary sinus ostium into the nasal cavity, and it is filling the nasal cavity. So this is a cut of coronal section of the enteroconal polyp, showing enteroconal polyp coming out from the maxillary sinus. Symptoms are usually nasal blockage in enteroconal polyp. It is usually unilateral and bilateral in ethmoidal polyposis. Nasal discharge is seen in both cases. Headache is usually noted in ethmoidal polyposis due to the involvement of frontal sinus and sphenoid sinus. Loss of smell is usually seen in ethmoidal polyposis bilaterally. Whenever there is excessive polyposis blocking the air current going up to the cribriform plate, it will cause the loss of smell. Here you can see that air current will not be able to reach up this cribriform plate, so patient will have difficulty in nasal breathing. Here you can see that the cribriform plate is well demarcated and sensation can be reach up to the from the right nasal cavity into these cases, but here you can see the patient can have loss of smell from the left nasal cavity. Sneezing is usually more commonly seen in allergic rhinitis patient, and that is usually seen in ethmoidal polyposis. Broadening of nose, that is usually seen in ethmoidal polyposis whenever there is excessive polyp in the nasal cavity. There is increase in medial intercanthal distance in cases of ethmoidal polyposis. Complications usually seen are fungal sinusitis. Whenever there is multiple ethmoidal polyposis which are ignored by patient, and when this patient has immunocompromised status, usually seen in diabetes mellitus, those type of patient have sometimes infection with fungus like aspergillosis, blastomycosis, mucormycosis, and that fungus can grow into the different nasal cavity in different sinuses. So that patient can develop fungal sinusitis. Sometimes this fungus can reach up to the brain and can cause the erosion of the nasal cavity bones. Orbital cellulitis is usually associated with ethmoidal polyposis. Whenever this type of ethmoidal polyposis convert into the chronic rhinosinusitis and causes the erosion of the bone between the orbit and nasal cavity, which is lamina peparischa. So this bone here is the lamina peparischa, which is separating the orbit with the nasal cavity. Due to the repeated pressure and infection from this ethmoidal polyposis, the bone can give away and can be necrose, and after that this infection can reach up to the orbital cavity. That is usually more common in fungal rhinosinusitis. Pansinusitis, it is usually the infection and bacterial infection or viral infection of the different sinuses due to the blockage of their ostia. Secretory otitis media, whenever this ethmoidal polyp or usually enterocanal polyp will reach up to the nasopharynx, it can block the unilateral or bilateral side of eustachian tube, and that patient can develop chronic suppurative otitis media and serous otitis media. This cases of ethmoidal polyposis and allergic rhinitis with enterocanal polyp, those cases can develop repeated oral cavity infection like tonsillitis, pharyngitis, laryngitis due to the stagnation of fluid and pus collection in the nasal cavity, which trickles down from the nasopharynx into the oropharynx as post-nasal drip, and that post-nasal drip can cause the infection as pharyngitis, more common pharyngitis, and sometimes tonsillitis and laryngitis. Investigation which can help in diagnosis of this type of patient are mainly the X-ray, CT-PNS we have already discussed about the CT scan, paranasal sinus. Special investigation is nasal endoscopy, which will give us the idea about the origin of nasal polyp, their inflammation of the nasal polyp, whether pus discharge or fungus is there or not, and can help in management of this type of patients. CT-PNS will give us about the all sinuses, their ostia, extent of nasal polyposis, whether it is unilateral, bilateral, whether it is ethmoidal or enterocoinal, and it will give us idea about our plan of surgery, and we can decide the steps before starting the surgery. X-ray PNS was usually done previously, but CT is more preferred nowadays because it access amount of information given. This investigation are usually done for the pre-op workup of this type of patient. Main treatment are medical and surgical. Medical treatment is for like antibiotic should be given if patient has infection in ethmoidal polyposis, or we can also start antifungal drugs, oral antifungal drugs, and injectable antifungal drugs like amphotericin if we are suspecting mucormycosis type of infection in the nasal cavity. Oral decongestion drug, oral antihistaminic. Oral decongestion drugs are phenylephrine like drugs, oral antihistaminics like levocetirizine, cetirizine, and other oral systemic steroid in case of allergy polyp which are ethmoidal polyposis. Oral steroids can be used, but usually topical steroids are usually used in, as we have seen in allergic rhinitis patient. Nasal drops which are helpful are xylometazoline and oxymetazoline preparations to relieve the congestion in the nasal cavity, but their excessive use can develop rhinitis medicamentosa. Main treatment for this type of polyposis is surgery. Whenever patient develops polyp, it should be removed by a polypectomy procedure. Usually previously it was done by intranasal and extranasal ethmoidectomy, in which intranasal ethmoidectomy done by transnasal route, but extranasal ethmoidectomy done by incision over the medial canthus of the eye and over the nasal bone. But today, due to the invention of different surgical endoscopes and different surgical instrument, different surgical curved instrument, functional endoscopic sinus surgery has replaced all this polyp surgery. Enterocoinal polyp was previously removed with Caldwell-Luck surgery, in which there will be making a hole over the anterior wall of maxillary sinus, and polyp from the maxillary sinus was removed from the Caldwell-Luck surgery. But today these all surgeries are replaced by functional endoscopic sinus surgery. It's a modern advanced surgery in which we will remove the nasal polyps from the different surgical endoscope and different surgical curve instrument. We will remove the polyp, we will open the different ostium like maxillary sinus, ethmoidal sinus, frontal sinus, and sphenoid sinus ostium. We will widen the maxillary other sinus ostium so that they will drain into the nasal cavity freely, and so that post-operative patient in this type of patients can use the topical spray of the topical steroid, and that topical steroid can reach up to all the sinuses in a post-operative patient. So functional endoscopic sinus surgery, also known as FACE, has replaced all the surgeries done before. So FACE is the main surgery in today's era for ethmoidal polyposis and enterocoinal polyp also. In enterocoinal polyp, usually we will remove the uncinate process which is blocking the maxillary sinus ostium, and after that we will deburn the maxillary sinus ostium. After that, polyp from the anterior and lateral wall of the nasal cavity will be removed by curve instrument, and it will be removed from the anterior nasal cavity or if it is large in size, we can go up to the nasopharynx and from there into the oropharynx, and we will remove it from the oral cavity. In ethmoidal polyp, we will remove this ethmoidal polyp nasal cavity one by one, and we will remove the uncinate in bilateral nasal cavity. We will widen this maxillary sinus ostium, and after that we will do enter and ethmoidectomy. Frontal sinus drainage here and widening of frontal recess. So these are the main steps for the functional endoscopic sinus surgery in anal polyp, ethmoidal polyp. So this is all about nasal polyposis. Thank you.